Well, the season's officially over for the Buffalo Sabres. Exciting game to wrap it up, 2-2. Sabres and Devils this afternoon, Fan Appreciation Day with the old blue and gold in tow for Buffalo. It's our final show of the year. We got a lot to talk about. We want to talk about it with you. We've got our season in review. We've got the coach's post-game press conference, all kinds of good stuff. And, of course, the one, the only, Mike Robitaille.
Well, with that said, it's time to make the donuts. Let's get it going. It's the Hotline. Welcome, everyone.
Everyone, for the final time this year, it's the Labatt Hockey Hotline. Brian Blessing, Mike Robitaille with you. It's a 2-2 tie, Sabres and Devils. And indeed, I think you have to like a lot of what we've seen from the Sabres in the final, well, I guess a couple months of the regular season. They did not roll over, which certainly could have been in the cards. So I think kudos to the coaching staff that they kept these guys focused. Kudos to the players for not rolling over on the coaches. And you turn your attention now with ownership and to the offseason and what may lie ahead for this team next year.
Well, first of all, I want to congratulate the players for the way they finished up. And you're right, they did not roll over, and that says an awful lot. And now they just have to get themselves adjusted for next year. But it was an honest effort today, and to be quite honest with you, it's been a long, long time that I can remember a season-finishing game that was as good as today, where two teams put a good effort into it. Usually it's just, let's get out of here, patty cake, and that's the end of it. But it went much deeper than that, and they deserve a lot of credit, both these hockey clubs, and I congratulate them for it. It was a great, something good for hockey today happened.
And good for the Devils, too. They came in here, a bunch of their guys did not, appear, the big names, Brodeur, Stevens, Niedermeyer. Yep. They put forth a big effort, and Schwab was outstanding in that.
Yeah, well, Schwab's a very good goaltender, and Toronto, I'll tell you, was very upset, and a lot of the fans and people up there when they let him go last year. And he's a fine goaltender. He's very underrated. He's capable of being a regular in the National Hockey League.
Okay, Kotelek gets his 21st of the year, and I think certainly there's one you look forward to next year to see how this guy develops and grows. And I got to think of this guy still as a Rookie of the Year candidate, and then hope that the word is out there around the league. I mean, we know what he's capable of. Do they around the league? Well,
unfortunately, it's not around the league, and they didn't promote this guy very well this year, and he's kind of just twisting in the wind right now, and I think a lot of other people received an awful lot more credit than maybe they deserve in some cases, but whatever. It has a lot to do with PR and marketing, and he didn't get the best of it, from my estimation, this season. So, I don't know, it doesn't look good for him to win the Rookie of the Year because of that, but his numbers certainly put him in contention. Brian, he had a wonderful season. He put himself on the map this year, and it's something I think that for all the fans to look forward to next season to see if he can improve on that. Usually that's very difficult. To that opening season, sometimes players tail off and they come back in the third year, but he has that in front of him, and he has the talents to go with it.
Was there a little segment of this game today that kind of sums it all up? Second period face-off, back to the point, Zhitnik through traffic, buries it right into the heart of the net, gets the goal, his third of the year, then take it to overtime. He comes in pretty much all alone, fires it wide.
Well, yeah, that really that is a good example. The one time he did put the puck in the net, it went in, and it went in with a lot of speed on the puck. He got a lot into it, and you're right, and the next best opportunity was right in front of the net, and he missed the net. So, I mean, there is a lot to be said about that, but we've been talking about that for a long time, and if he ever pulls that together as part of his game, he's going to be a lot more effective hockey player.
This New Jersey club we watched today, there's no reason not to think that they aren't right there at the top of the list to come out of the East again. They've got the goaltender, very good in their own end of the rink, and guys like Elias can put it in, timely scoring if they get the power play going. You got the grit of Stevens, speed of Niedermeyer. It's amazing how they kind of have all the little cogs in the wheel in place, and they always seem to mesh very well.
Well, and they have experience, and there's a lot of hair in their chest, too. They've been there, and you're talking about a very mature hockey club that understands the downside and the upside of playoff hockey. And believe me, there's a big downside to it. It's a tough, tough grind if you want to win a Stanley Cup. That doesn't come easy.
All right, Michael, it's a 2-2 final this afternoon, and the Sabres and Devils tie it up. Miro Shatan had an assist on Kodalik's goal, and he is Danny Gare's guest. And as it ends up, Danny, 76 points for Miro. That is a career high.
It is a career high, and through difficult times and difficult year for you, Miro, but pretty much ended up on a pretty good note here, especially since maybe mid-January or so for this hockey team.
Yeah, after the tough start of the year, I think lately we've been playing a little better hockey, and if we would be able to keep this kind of hockey whole season, maybe we would be a little closer to the playoffs, and wouldn't end up so far back.
Let me ask you about the things that you might, when you're looking back at the year here, what times, or were there one time when you felt that that might have maybe put the downfall for this team? Was it something that you could have changed from within, you think?
I think the worst period we had was in November when, I don't know what was the record, but we lost almost every game. And I think what I felt personally, that probably we should have done some changes and not to let that slip so far. And unfortunately we didn't do anything, and we kept slipping, and then it was too late after the bad month of November, and so hopefully we can learn from that next year. And anytime we get on a 3, 4, 5 game bad streak, I think we have to start realizing that we have to change things in a hurry, and not to wait for before we have more troubles on our back.
Well, obviously changes were made, and some of the deals that Darcy Regier pulled off, especially at the trading deadline. Certainly, when you talk about Daniel Briere, there's a player that has certainly come in and it seemed to click with you guys, especially on the power play. Yes,
we definitely needed a skilled player on a power play, and that was definitely a right change, and he helped out power play a lot, and you could see that the numbers lately in the year were much better, and power play has been doing much better. So that was a good thing to see. Leadership is a big part of your role, I think, coming back here next year. You do have one of the youngest teams in the National Hockey League. Looking forward to that next year? Yes, I do. I'm gonna get my lesson in World Championship, because last year I was the leader there, and this year it might be the same, and we'll see. I'm looking forward to it, and the season was shorter for us than other years, and I'm gonna play hockey 2 more weeks, and hopefully we can have same result as we had last year. Yeah, for those that don't know about the World Championships in Finland this year, you're going to go play there. You were the captain and the most valuable player last year, so you will have some extended time to play. But finally, let's just talk a little bit about what your thoughts with the new ownership and the future of this hockey club. It looks very exciting. Mr. Golisano and Larry Quinn, they already came to the dressing room, talk to us, and it looks like they're very determined to turn things around, and hopefully they can make all the right decisions, and do some changes, and we can come back here next year with maybe stronger team and stronger organization, and turn the things around. Well, you had a great season, first 50th season since, I think, 95, since LaFontaine. Congratulations on that, and good luck in the World Championships. Thank you, Danny. Miro Shatan, guys, the first star here tonight, to had his most point total, highest, I should say, point total ever in the National Hockey League with the Sabres, with 76. And I think he did his part for the most of it this year. He needs a few more players that can help him out, maybe around the road or down the road here with the Sabres. Hey, Danny, we got a lot cooking here in the next 50 minutes or so we have to wrap it short. Just want to say thank you very much. Again, always a treat working with you, buddy. Well, same to you. And Mike. And Michael, do you want to say bye-bye? Always enjoy it. All right, Danny. Thanks for your honesty. Take care, guys. Have a good summer, and we'll hit the links together. All right. Sounds like a plan. Danny, thanks a lot.
Have a great day. Danny Gear down at HSBC Arena. It's a 2-2 tie. Sabres and Devils have to take a quick timeout. Lindy Ruff will be at the podium shortly. We got the season in review for you, of course. Annual feature, our final show of the year. So that's coming your way a little bit later on. Let's take a break. We'll come right back, get going with the highlights and your phone calls on the Labatt Hockey Hotline.
The season's over.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Huh? What happened?
It just dawned on you now?
Just don't want it to sink in.
Could have told you November of April.
We got
6th
some goals
was
here.
the day.
What do you think?
No, let's take some phone calls.
All right, let's start with a call.
Do you know where Ladysmith, BC is?
I know where BC is. I lived there 3 years.
You don't know where Ladysmith is. So let's go to Scott. How you doing, Scott?
Hi, how's it going, you guys?
Good. What's cooking?
Good, Scott.
I just had a few quick comments, and I get your guys' reaction there, your comments on them. Try to make it quick. First of all, the blue and gold, my vote's for that to come back. They're beautiful jerseys.
Putting you down for one right now, Scott. There you are.
Okay.
You got an X. Go ahead.
Second, Code Leak, definitely rookie of the year. I got a dish. I watch all the games, and definitely the best.
Who do you think's going to win it?
Probably, I'm thinking Jackman, because like you said, he doesn't get much attention, especially on.
They've been promoting him.
Yeah, and defenseman, and
Zetterberg's good too.
And second, I'd just like to say you guys are probably the best crew. I watch all the pre-game, post-game shows, and definitely Rick and Jim, Danny, and you guys are you're something else.
Thanks, Scott. We appreciate that. Very kind of you to call.
Good. Always nice to hear.
Make sure you call on opening day next year and remind us.
Well, one more thing.
Yeah.
Okay, who do you guys think will be captain next year? I think maybe Jay McKee. I'll hang up and listen.
I agree wholeheartedly with you. Adam Mayer certainly in the loop in terms of consideration for that. McKee would be my vote.
Well, you start off with a couple right there. I think it's just a little early to do that right now, and save that for a very, very special day and use it as PR and marketing. Have this built up over the summer.
Oh, wait a minute.
Malcolm,
now,
I think that's important. There's a good opportunity. So either one of those two is fine.
No, but you think that's a marketing thing? You don't think that's the whole purpose of that is just here's my guy in the room, and they couldn't sort this out in training camp and do it down in Carolina?
No, absolutely not. No,
you want to put them out on the carpet and make it a big...
Well, what I'm saying, who they pick is really important.
Right.
I'm saying as time goes on, there might be new players coming in over the season. I think you have to wait a little bit.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is when you have something like this, turn it into a marketing coup. It can be. Make a big deal of this. Get the fans involved. They're involved right now. Everybody wants to know. Let them kick in, get involved in this. Turn it into something big and use it as an opportunity to promote your team a little bit.
Before the decision's made, who do you think should be the captain?
Well, they just whatever you want to do.
On the website or something.
I want to pick up a paper someday and down in the middle of the summer. And by the way, Mayer has been made captain. I mean, here's an opportunity. Ride with it a little bit. Roll it.
Okay.
Jeez, don't fall asleep at the switch.
Let's go. Steve in West Seneca. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, good guys. How you doing?
Good, sir.
Well, any better, we couldn't stand it. That's
Great.
pretty good.
You guys did a great job this year.
Well, we did our best. We enjoyed you people joining us, too. We're very fortunate to have fans like you to draw from.
Appreciate you guys around. Hey, the goaltending situation. Do you think maybe Braun or Norden should be traded and bring up Miller? And what do you think with Lindy Ruff? Should he come back as coach? Because I think he was a class act with all the problems and everything else. I think he did a great job.
Without sounding like a broken record, I think on both counts here, absolutely. Lindy Ruff. Yes, he should be back. The goaltending situation is kind of up in the air. I mean, and Miller, how much do you anticipate him developing 1 year of professional hockey under his belt?
I have, but you know what? They don't know. I don't know. No one knows. He certainly has shown the signs that he can be a big league goaltender, but all three of them have. Nobody is number one right now. That job is wide open. I don't think that's a healthy way to start the season, and that's why I think this hockey team should give a lot of serious thought to starting the season with an absolute lead pipe cinch. They know where they're going. They have a number one to start the season off. And right now, they don't have that. So I don't know how you start a season without being able to answer that question.
I'll tell you what, Michael, let's try to get a little bit ahead of game here. Let's do a little business. Take a quick timeout. When we return, we're anticipating Lindy Ruff will be at the podium. So let's take a quick break. It's 2-2, Sabres, Devils. Your final score this afternoon from HSBC Arena. We'll be back momentarily. Back on the Labatt Hockey Hotline. Lindy Ruff will be at the podium momentarily. They rolled out the old blue and gold. They got the jerseys out today, so that certainly got the fans excited, and we got an email regarding that. This comes to us from Mike in Buffalo. wow, after a lousy season like this, I didn't think that it would, I would feel anything on the last day of our season like this. But before I knew it, my eyes were wet. The sight of the blue and gold was beautiful to see. The kids today, I'm sure, don't understand, but to anyone in their 30s and beyond, this was a special thing to see. After a brutal year on Game 82, I say thank you, Sabres. That was a nice touch, bringing the
It was a good idea. Personally, I broke down and cried. I had to go to the washroom and actually hide.
You were blubbering.
No, I think, listen, any opportunity you have to bring some entertainment and showmanship and tradition back to an organization with good memories of those sweaters, I mean, that was an opportunity. They took advantage of it, and I applaud them for it.
Would you anticipate it? And, you know, Tom Golisano said, and it will certainly be a point of discussion, I'm sure, during the offseason, but during the big press conference, he said he'd heard a lot of feedback from the fans through the process of trying to acquire the club, that fans really missed the blue and gold and thought that would be something they could take a long, hard look at.
Well, it's, yeah.
And maybe just the color scheme, maybe you can jazz it up a little bit. I don't know if you go back completely to the old uniforms, but that was the only beef. I had no problem with jazzing things up, but the change in colors I thought was a little over the top, so maybe they can do something a little exciting with blue and gold.
I think all these things can help. It's a bit of a red herring when you think about what you're going to do with this team and how you're going to have to make it better. I hope they don't lose their focus at any point in time, because that's the number one issue they have to deal with. The other things like sweaters and whatever and colors and this and that, I mean, that's a nice little side issue. That's window dressing, and part and parcel, I think, of bringing the whole package together. And so it is something they have to think about, along with a lot of other things also.
That's 2 days in a row you've been serving up red herrings.
Why is that?
I don't know. You said the same thing yesterday.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, something about red herrings all over the place.
Why is that such a thing in your mind? How would you remember that?
I listen. Unlike you,
You like fish?
Unlike you, I listen to you.
That's good.
That's good. I listen to what goes on around here. Let's go to Nick and Victor. How you doing, Nick?
Hi, Mike and Brian.
How you
Hello,
doing?
Victor.
First of all, I'd like to say I thought Schwab really was the #1 star. But
I took him as a star, Nick.
okay,
I've got him there. Don't worry.
okay. But
He
I'd
was
like
great.
to say I don't know what we need to call that line. I just came up with Maginot Line. Maybe it'll have to do for now. But I would expect all three of those guys at least have 20 goals next year. Hopefully Brown, maybe. It's definitely possible. Maybe a Pyatt in there too. You know, we should hopefully we'll have 20 or 20 goal scorers next year, and maybe with a healthy McKee and Warner in the offseason get healthy, we might be in pretty good shape.
Well, you know what? And I think there's reason to be excited to look ahead, but you know, I don't know. What makes you think Curtis Brown's going to take another step forward? I mean, Curtis Brown is what Curtis Brown is. I think you look at some of these kids to develop and take that next step. I think several of these guys have found their level. I don't know. I think you're looking for youngsters for the offense.
Certainly, you know, this is a team, the way they're playing right now, I think the fans can embrace this team a little bit as they go into next season. No question is going to be is that can they break that mold? And that mold is not very effective right now, and that's not playing well at the beginning of a season. They've been gone down that path 2 years in a row, and they better not be let off the hook at the beginning of next season. That should be rammed right down their throat, and you make them accountable, even more accountable than they've ever been in their whole careers. And if they're not going to react to it, that accountability, then get them out of here and get some players in that will accept it. Because that can't happen again. I mean, this is nonsense at this point, and totally unacceptable. So they've got to change the pattern here.
Let me throw the grenade at you here. We said this at the beginning of this year. How would they get this thing untracked at the beginning of the year? They had a wonderful preseason. You had McMorrow, Peters. They were playing rough and tumble hockey, came out of the box, played wonderfully the first couple of games, and then all of a sudden fell off the face of the earth. What can they do to change their psyche at the start of a season to come out and get off to a good start?
Well, the number one psyche, win will create that more than anything else. If they just simply take care of that. If it doesn't, I mean, right, you've got to let it all out. You just can't go into a season, well, I think we're going to have to win. We're going to have, it doesn't work that way. It really goes much deeper than that. And they've got to make some adjustments.
Let's talk more about that when we return, but Lindy Ruff's made it to the podium.
Back a few memories of airplane day.
Got memories of the blue and gold, but it looked like a lot faster version this time. I thought that was great tonight. You know, and the players were pumped up to put them on, so that was fun.
When did you find out about that? I know they found out right before the game.
I had very short notice, a little bit more than most of you had, but I I knew about it yesterday.
And that plays a part in creating a certain feeling among the fans and the players heading into the off season compared to the lows of the season. How much different is the feeling right now in the room and throughout the whole organization about this team now?
Well, I think there's a real good feeling. I think we've had some real good chemistry, some real good energy. If you look at the last, I think we're undefeated in 5 or 6 here. We close out the year. Offensively, we've been playing better. There's just been a real good buzz since the announcement of Tom possibly taking over the team, and I think we've seen that. The addition of Briere has made a difference to the club with instant chemistry on another line. And I think the injuries mounted up, but we played through those and still finished very strong.
Had several weeks to prepare for not making the postseason, but is there any way to really be prepared for when the final horn goes off and you're not, and then that's it? There's no more game tomorrow.
No, and address the team about that. It is a bad feeling, and it doesn't matter whether it's a week or 2 weeks. I mean, we've known for a while now that it didn't look good, but we tried to take some positives out of it and tried to develop, good energy going into the, even the last month of the season. We set some goals, and I think those goals were met, even through adversity. You mentioned the sickness we went through. The injuries added up, but I thought the guys we called up did a tremendous job for us. How far down the ladder we went with our defense and still played good hockey shows the depth of at least the defensive core and the forwards when we got pressed a little thin. But I think when we started getting some healthy guys back, Yoke and Heck, I thought coming back healthy made a big difference to our hockey club. And there's a lot of bright spots there.
Lindy, Tom had just said that he wants to address your future now in the next several days. That's the time frame that he gave. Now that the games are over, could you just talk about your mindset, your feelings? He also indicated he's been very impressed with how the team has played, particularly down the stretch.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we're going to have conversations, obviously. And, he's excited. He's brought a lot of excitement. Just the energy he brings, when he's around. When you hear him talk, he's excited about owning the team. I think that energy has spilled off into the team. I'm excited about sitting down and talking to him. We haven't had a lengthy conversation, and I'm looking forward to that.
You've indicated that you do want to stay. Would you like to get this wrapped up as quickly as possible?
I've got no timetable. Just, we'll meet. We've got, medicals and physicals planned for players, and obviously in the next probably 4 or 5 days we'll sit down.
Did it creep into your mind that could be your last game in Buffalo at all today?
I never put any thought into that. I really didn't, to be honest with you.
With timetables of the off-season, and not to belabor the point, but I'm sure that they want to get something done as quickly as possible because of the draft and different things that are going to need to be in place. But with your situation of possibly being a free agent, is this something that you see you would rather take a little bit more time to weigh your options?
No, there's just conversations we need to have. Larry and Tom and Darcy and I, and we'll have those, and I think possibly good things will come from that.
Wednesday night they had the tribute to you. Tonight they had the blue and gold uniforms. How does that help reconnect with the fans?
Oh, I think there's a lot of fond memories in the blue and gold and the odd. I mean, I've got lots. The fans have lots. That was a great building to watch hockey games. Just seeing Larry Playfair around there tonight, and I think it just brings. You think of Gilbert Perreault. You think of there's a lot of magical moments. Not a Stanley Cup, but there was some great players put the blue and gold on.
Your hat trick against Quebec?
That was actually a 4-goal game. But I don't really remember that.
Were you surprised the way the fans reacted to that?
One was on top of the circle, 2 were from the crease. Fourth one was on the power play. But who's counting?
Were you surprised the way the fans reacted to that, to the uniforms today, or is that about what you expected?
No, it was about what I expected. I think first surprised, and then I thought it was a real good response to it. For coming out and really keeping the lid on it where nobody really knew what was going on. I thought we had a very favorable response to it.
What about the players in the room? I mean, what was there when it first?
Players thought it was awesome. They obviously you got to do the quick change where you normally don't do it. I mean, our goaltenders went right down to the bare legs to put the socks on. So I mean, there was a scramble to get ready to get out there for game time. But I thought the players actually preferred throwing that on. They thought it was great.
Okay.
Thanks.
And there it is, Lindy Ruff. A couple of smiles at the end of the season. 2-2 is the final score with the Devils and the Sabres today at HSBC Arena. Let's find out what's going on elsewhere in the world of sports. Let's get it over to Jason Bristol. Time now for an Empire Sports Report update. All right, Jason, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. We'll be looking forward to that. And just hearing some of those scores, a quick recap of what's going on here. Detroit's tied. Dallas is winning. So Dallas, if that held up, Dallas could end up with the top spot in the West.
Good.
All right, Colorado's winning. Vancouver is tied. Colorado needs to win. Vancouver loses. Colorado would win the Northwest. And Minnesota, by virtue of that win over Columbus, advances. They leapfrog over Anaheim, so they're now in 6th.
Yep.
So there was a lot at stake today, and there have been some changes throughout the course of the afternoon. We've got Roby's review for you. No change here. It's a daily feature of Hockey Hotline. It's brought to you by Chevy, the cars you can depend on, the cars that last. Chevy will be there. You don't have to be the biggest guy in the world to make some noise, do you?
Nah, this is an example of Gianna's about 5'6". Stop it right there. And what's the battle right here? He's going to take on a big guy in Adam Mayer. See how the results work out. Watch this. Now just let it go. Watch him go behind the net. Watch Gianna. I mean, it can be done. So all you little guys out there, don't think you can't make the National Hockey League because you're small. You can.
Speaking of little guys, one of your favorites I was watching last night, Calgary, Edmonton, Scotty Nickel got in the middle of it.
Did he?
Oh, they were going at it hammer and tong last night. Nickel was right in the middle of it. Yeah.
He knows what keeps him there.
All right, it's a 2-2 tie. Sabres and Devils wrapping up the regular season for Buffalo. New Jersey's off to the playoffs this week. We'll take a quick timeout, come right back with more of your phone calls here on the Labatt Hockey Hour. You all right?
Oh, man, that hurt.
That hurt me, too.
Yeah, this one's going out to Sam Karuba. Thanks for being with us again, Karuba. And there's the hit right there.
Adam Mayer again.
Yeah, he's our Verada now.
First half of the year was all Verada. Second half of the year, it was all Adam Mayer. Make the right decision. Insist on Karuba collision. And again, thanks to Sam Karuba, the folks at Karuba. We do the big goodbye here all during the last show. But, I mean, again, Labatt, thank you. Wonderful.
They've been terrific
Ford,
for years.
Chevy, State Farm.
On and on it goes.
On and on it goes.
I mean, those are the people that make this
Who do we forget?
show.
Ace Tobacco, Xerox.
Right. So take good care of them.
Don't forget anybody.
Hey, you know something I don't want to forget, too? A wonderful guy in town, Bob Westfall. Spent his whole life working for kids
50
hockey.
years working with you.
They're going to have a tribute to Bob. All right, it's over at the Holiday Twin Rinks. I want to mention this for the alumni, the Sabre alumni. They're going to be playing against the old Regal alumni, and that's on May 3rd at the Holiday Twin Rinks. An auction, food. It's going to be a grand afternoon. Tribute to Bob Westfall. Make sure you make it.
All right, let's go to Jim in Cheektowaga. Let's get Jim in there. Can't miss this one. Hi, Jim.
Hey, guys. How are you?
All right,
really
sir,
good, Jim.
Good. Hey, I want to talk a couple of quick points. First of all, I know one caller brought up the captain and for next year, and I like this Briere kid. I think he not only his talent aside, but his heart that he shows and the character that he also brings to the team. What do you guys think?
Well, he's a possibility also simply because, he's a lot like Mayer, that he'll go into traffic and he'll go in where a lot of people don't want to go. So he's kind of a courageous son of a gun. He's got some talent, a huge upside to him. I think he can get better. So there's some decisions to be made, and who knows, there might be some new faces before next season that might be even above and beyond the candidates we talk about.
Well, the big thing, I hope that Briere's enthusiasm for being here and the way his quality of play continues to the beginning of next year, Michael.
And Brian, I don't have a problem with them even passing this thing out in quarters. I like that idea. It's such a badge of honor to wear that C, and the opportunity to do that and to be a leader and just to be able to give it to somebody to escalate their game can be pretty valuable as the season goes on.
Let's keep it in Cheektowaga, but go and have a chat with Lenny.
The C? Keep the C in Cheektowaga?
You can do that if you want. Lenny, what's up?
How you doing?
Good.
Hi, Lenny.
I just want to congratulate you guys on another fine year.
Oh, boy, that's great. Good.
Thanks, Lenny. We're counting the seconds the next year.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it did my heart good to see the Sabres out of their clown suits and back into the suits they belong.
Helped a little bit, huh, Lenny?
Blue, white, and gold with that beautiful logo. It's so good to see.
That meant something to you, Lenny?
Oh, it sure did. I've been harping on this ever since they went to those other things.
Well, it's not that's today. That's not a done deal now.
I hope it is, though.
Okay.
Well, there's one way to make it work. That's winning them.
Yep, that's true.
And everything's taken care of.
Yeah. I have a question. With this free agency that's been going crazy for the last decade or more, and I see teams like Winnipeg and Hartford and Quebec.
Right.
Now the Sabres are having problems. How are they ever going to compete with the New Yorks, the Philadelphias? They're going to end up having a team that's going to be a glorified training camp for future talent.
Okay, Lenny, we've got about 30 seconds to respond.
Lenny,
For starters, you got to do it through the draft, and in your scouting department, a lot of heat on them.
And also, 2004, I have to make some dramatic changes, I think, for the game of hockey. And I think the ownership have to start supporting one another a little better, too, and bring this whole thing together. There's a lot at stake. There's enough money there for everyone.
Oh, it's nice to say, but, do you think they'll do it?
Well, they might not have any choice at this point.
Wake up and smell the coffee. Xerox Fast Fact for you. The last time the Sabres wore the blue-gold jerseys, well, it was back on April 14th of 1996, and it resulted in a victory 4-1 when they beat one of the teams Lenny just mentioned, the Hartford Whalers.
Roby's Hot 3, brought to you by the Western New York Ford stores. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, Ford's got your ride. Visit your local Ford store today.
Well, you got some stars? Or
yeah,
what?
we thank you for it. Elias, the #1 star this afternoon's 28th goal of the season. Man, was he outstanding today. #2 star, Miroslav Shatan. 50 assists this season. We split the third star between the goaltenders, Schwab and Nornan. Nice job by both these hockey clubs. I congratulate them. Last game of the season, they gave the fans what they came to see. That's some entertainment for their dollar and what they paid for the ticket, and good for them. That's great.
We're coming up. We're going to have the season review, a lot of highlights for you. It's a good 10-minute package that we show each and every year. It's certainly get the VCRs rolling, some great highlight reel goals for you. So I'm sad to say this may prove to be our final call of the year.
Oh, this is it?
Well,
All right.
It may be.
Better be a good one.
Maybe, and it's going to be
a lot of pressure on this guy.
A lot of pressure on you, Jim in Helmville, Missouri. Make it live, Jim.
Yeah, all right, guys.
How you doing?
Good. Sorry to see the last game come and go, and I'm going to miss you till the beginning of next season. But the reason for the call, thanks for getting me in, is I hope Buffalo rises up and all become Ottawa Senators fans right now, get behind Rob Ray, and pray they win that cup, and Rob walks away with the cup.
Well, they might do it, too. Jimmy, we're watching last night, the game last night. Both Brian and I looked at one another and said, have you ever seen Ray skate so fast? You see, he was quite good. He was all over the place, man, wide open.
He didn't step on the puck once.
No, good for him. He looked great.
Marotta certainly has been, what an impact he's making.
Yeah.
He's been a nuisance. He's driving people nuts.
Time for them to make the next step, Ottawa.
Yes, it is. All right, I'll tell you what, we got about a minute left.
Yes.
Let's do some predictions.
All right.
Who do you like?
Whatever you like.
Who do you like coming out of the East?
Oh, boy. I guess with the goaltending, I'll take New Jersey.
I'm tempted. All right, that's all right. I'm tempted. Believe me,
that isn't who I want. But
I'm tempted. I am so tempted to jump on the bandwagon with you. But Ottawa's been my pick from day one. I think they overachieved in the regular season. I'll stick with Ottawa. All right. In the West.
I think the Wings will come back.
Okay.
I just love Minnesota. Come on, Minnesota. That's my team I'm cheering for.
I'm all for that.
They're going to scare the gizzard out of some people.
Good for you, though, to say Detroit, because they always got to get lost in the shuffle, and they're so good. I'll go with I'll go with Colorado and Hayduk and Sakic and Forsberg if they stay healthy.
Choice.
Blake, and the Cup. The Cup goes too.
Probably the Wings.
I like it out of the West myself. I'll go with Colorado. All right, we've got the scoring summary for you. It's brought to you by your neighborhood State Farm agents, providing insurance and financial services like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. Crazy bounce off the backboards. Got Norton caught out of position. Grant Marshall, good for him. He buried it. He made no mistake. Yep. Second period, how about it? Buffalo comes back with 2 unanswered, grabbed the lead. Kotelik ends the season with 21. Zhitnik hit the net. It went in, his third. Eliash, this guy knows how to score, his 28th. Tied it at 2. Nobody scored in the third or in overtime. 2-2 was your final. When we come back, the season in review. All right, it's about that time. I want to thank everybody so we don't forget anyone on the crew.
Thank you.
But the crew here, they put up with us. Some of them are easy marks.
No, I know. You're allowed to put up with. I understand.
We're not the easiest. But anyway, our directors, Dee, Aaron, Gary, Marty, great job all year long. Chris Anbellis has been our producer from day one, and she was with us the majority of the season, but she has other duties. So also our thanks to Tim, David, Dick, Mark, and Brenda, who did some great work, and everybody on the floor and the crew. We have a lot of fun with these guys. They do a great job for us. And thanks to you, the callers, because the show...
It really is all about them.
It goes nowhere without the fans. It's been a long year, and the fans have been great, right?
From all over the country, boy, from coast to coast, and I'm glad you enjoy it.
I think that's really the most enjoyable thing when you think about what a long, hard year this has been. When you hear it, and you really go back to October, November, the passion and the hurt that you heard from the fans when they'd call. And then you see them turn a corner as the team plays better, and you see the hope for the future. You can hear it in the fans' voice, and they're very knowledgeable.
I think with the new ownership and just those think tanks they have between Rochester and right here in Buffalo, Brian, it's going to make for a fascinating summer. One of the most fascinating summers hockey fans have ever had around Western New York. They've got some tough decisions to make, but they're going to make them.
And lastly, I would like to thank you. I know I drive you nuts sometimes.
Same here, Brian.
It's always fun.
It's always great.
And hey, the fall will be here before you know it.